Hey everyone, I'm cold. Good morning. As usual, I'm on the freeway at 6 in the morning. This is like my last Tuesday of driving this early. Yeah, I have different jobs, and it seems that for October, I've been having some adjustments. Yeah, I guess people on my behalf said they didn't want me driving this far. So, therefore, I make less money. So it's becoming a really bit of some stress that I haven't really been talking about. But let's just put it this way. I'm losing $150 a week. That hurts. So I'm trying to find different ways to earn some income, but I guess in the world of wisdom and divine, you got to be creative, and it's a step out of the clock in, clock out, the corporate and all that, the office job, things like that. So I had to find what of my camera's slipping. Oops. What of my spiritual work or my, what can I do to, it's hard. But I'll be fine. I got this. I don't know why my camera is sliding. Sorry, you guys. So anyways, I want to share something quick with everybody that I'm undergoing reading the Book of Enoch. I feel like I'm led to it, even though I know it's esoteric. But see, if you guys don't know the different ICTICS, there is esoteric, there's Coptic, and there's Gnostic. So there's 3 translations. So the esoteric is basically the mysticisms, the mysteries, the things you can't explain. They're just supernatural. Then they have to be transcribed and encrypted, because I guess the people changed, the eras changed, the years changed. Kind of like how we have our desensitized environment now. You say something that's borderline offensive to someone now, it'd be different than 10 years ago. So that will be the Coptic. The Coptic would be the version that protects it protects the words, and it allows them to keep going without the cuckoo. You better get off my bumper behind me. I see you. And then you have the Gnostic, which is the more simplified version of the Coptic. The Coptic was kind of interesting because it was stolen by Rome, and thus it became Gnosis. It's funny because the word Gnosis kind of sounds like hypnosis, right? Is where you manipulate, or that's just how it goes. I didn't make it up. I didn't make up the definitions, but those are my interpretations of it. You guys can look them up yourself. But Gnostic is spelled with a G. Gnostic. Coptic is Coptic. A lot of people were bloodshed and sacrificed because they were trying to distribute the Coptic version, but because it was bringing so much bloodshed and sacrifice, there was a race that transcribed it into Gnosis. So at least people can still be in the know and have their own interpretation. But then now there's so many different versions of interpretations that people don't know how to get back to the very beginning, the origin. Anyways, so then there's Hermetics. And Hermetics was science, math, theology, and that allowed people to have their own way of learning how to take symbolisms and code and recode gnosis to understand the Coptic so that they can return back to esoteric. People always think esoteric is evil or demonic or satanic, but it's not. It's the people of those cults who took esoteric, their esoteric teachings, and they use it for their own purpose. It's kind of like when you figure out an ingredient for a certain recipe, and like let's say KFC, if you guys know Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's like an original recipe, right? But then if you eat it and you're like, I can figure out this recipe, and then you figure it out on your own. That's what happened from these secret groups and esoteric. People found out the recipe and they used it. So a lot of times when you guys think that something is against you, don't think that way. It's usually what they took from us from the very beginning, and they are manipulating us to think that it's against us, that it's evil, but it's not. It's our own craft. It's our own gifts. And true discernment can allow you to see the truth for what it was. I'm on the freeway, basically. Just let you guys know. Oh my gosh. So early. I'm so sloppy right now. Get off my head. I guess it wants to stay. Anyways, so I wanted to make another gesture about the Book of Enoch. Why I'm reading this, because I feel like I've been having some funky dreams, and they all are leading to what had happened. What happened? What happened? How did Enoch disappear? Where did he go? He ascended. Same with Elijah. He just disappeared. Well, people just don't disappear. They don't just... A stargate, a portal doesn't just open, they walk through it. They would have to ascend, right? So if there are... Jesus was the only ascended master according to people who witnessed it. So if no one witnessed Enoch ascending or Elijah ascending, then therefore you have two witnesses. Two witnesses of ascension. That's the tricky part. That's where I'm trying to figure it out, because I know I can figure it out. I have a wise brain, yo. But if you guys want to, I put the link in my description box below. If you just listen to the first 10-15 minutes, it's a 4-hour long audio, but if you listen to the first 10-15 minutes, it will make perfect sense why you all are called to do what you do. Excuse me. Why you all say what you say and how you say it. And that is your evidence that you are proclaimed safety. You are proclaimed a child, a watcher of truth. And it also should make you feel comfortable that nothing should happen to your vessel as long as you're doing something. Anything. So I just wanted my viewers to know that you guys are all protected over. You guys should know that. There's nothing that should harm you at all, except for verbal abuse by dumb, don't say it here, don't be judgmental. I was gonna say dumb comments on social media, but let's not pay attention to all that. It's all a distraction. There's a lot of distractions. What else I want to share with you guys? Oh my gosh, so I was reading about this next Mercury retrograde. Oh God. My coworker told me yesterday, I'm like, ooh girl, I'm so glad you told me 2 weeks before, because I have 2 weeks to prepare. Oh my gosh, like I need to stock up. I need to stock up on sage, black candles. I need amethyst. I need more amethyst. Salt lamps. I gotta, yeah. I am playing with Mercury retrograde. And it's in Scorpio, which is... Scorpio is sort of like agitation, irritation, being defensive. People are constantly going to offend you. There's nothing comfortable about Scorpio. It's just constant defense mechanism. I mean, that's what the Scorpion represents. Its outer shell is its protector. On a positive note, I could say that is that nothing could get into here. Nothing is going to be that effective to where it should penetrate your belief, should penetrate your faith. But people will be trying you. I kid you not. And it's on Halloween. And there's a full moon. The freaks come out at night. Freaks come out at night. That Halloween, I have to work all day. And it's kind of sad because I don't understand why people need me. I'm like, why? Why do you need me to, like, be somewhere? And a lot of it, too, is volunteer, the things that I do. So it's like, ugh. Halloween is going to be a hot mess. If you guys don't have to leave your house, don't. Stay inside. Oh, this person behind me is going to hit me. I need to get over. I don't like driving behind people who are very anxious when they drive. That's how I knew I was an empath, because I was starting to sense when people were like driving like that, or they had coffee. They had coffee. That's a nice bike. Mama like. Yeah, you can tell when people have coffee and they get in the car. I always like wonder, you know, we regulate on everything, you know, drinking and driving, and then they're gonna have these breathalyzers for marijuana starting January. But it's like they never want to measure, like, you know, I guess because coffee is natural. But if the heart rate is being, you know, elevated, it should be the same as, you know, drugs. I'm just saying, allegedly. Allegedly. Just saying. People in coffee and driving, it's like, anyways. I think I'll let you guys go. I said my point of the day. Watch the Book of Enoch, or listen to the audio book. And what's fascinating, pay attention to this too. It talks about the Lord, and like the Lord had a lot of anger, and it was like animosity towards the fallen angels for, you know, making wives of, you know, the earth. But it just, I always say Heavenly Father, the Almighty, our Father, Creator, God, was never spiteful, angry, or like, yeah, he did not seek revenge. Like, that's just not his nature. Why? Because why would anything create something in a divine image and then want to destroy itself? God won't do that to himself. So that's the whole point of interpreting scripture. You have to look at it as like, okay, so who was the Lord? The Lord was either, and I said this in my last video, in Genesis it said how the Lord walketh in the garden. I interpret that as Jesus, because the capital L lowercase O-R-D is Jesus, like in the spirit form before he became into the earth as a man, son of man. See, there goes my confirmation. And the capital L, capital O, capital R, capital D, I would interpret that as Yahweh or the serpent, which is Yahweh. It's the same dude. Because anybody who can be a trickster will know the mysteries, which will be wisdom, which will be, knowledge, and will get people to eat from the tree of knowledge, which then will bond them to his rule and his frequency, for lack of words, his control. God did create serpent. Maybe God said, look, I'm gonna create this opposition of me so that I would test my people. If they really know me, they would know that I'm not a sabotaging, deceitful, facetious, angry, vengeful. And that's where people are getting the whole concept wrong. They keep blaming religion and saying, well, that's God, and God created religion. Everyone's so mean, and let me just turn away from religion. And that's the wrong, I guess, the misconception of religion is carried out by people who don't know how to interpret it. And then that's when people get confused and mixed up. People will say, you're going to hell, and blah, blah, blah. That is a reflection of Yahweh. The people who say you're condemned to hell, you're damned to hell. Then you have to look at the bloodline and genetics of those people who feel that way, because it's all from the same tribe. Your tribe and my tribe are very different than they tribe. So I think going forward in my next videos, I want to start including a little bit more of my own take, of my own perspective, which is my own wisdom. I think I've channeled enough messages. I think I've spoke on behalf of the divine enough. I think now it's time for me to be on my own and start sharing my own. I include my 2 cents on a lot of different messages that I intuit. And a lot of people who probably recently started following my channel don't know that all of my videos are literally from a higher power, a higher divine, higher council. And it's all, I pray over myself, and then I kind of just get the messages, and bloop, here they go. I look really cold, don't I? It was 59 degrees this morning in LA, which is, I know it's probably not cold, because some of you in the South are very, probably freezing right now, but LA cold is weird, because when you're by the ocean, we get mist, and then we have the water vapor towers, allegedly, the geoengineered manufactured water towers, allegedly. And so they put mist in the air, so that mist, it just makes you sticky, and it's a cold sticky. It's like when you leave the gym and you go out in the cold weather. That's how we feel out here. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.